All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Patrolling in Paradise, the official podcast of the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. Glad to be back. I'm Chris.
I'm Gabriella.
And we are joined by Candyce Gonzalez. And Candyce, you are a communications training officer. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I nailed it. I'm so proud of myself.
Good
We're
job.
off to a good start here on this
Proud
show.
of you.
Really happy to be here. Candyce, how long have you been with Charlotte County Sheriff's Office?
It's been 5.5 years.
See, I thought you were right around the same time I was. So good timing on that. What's it like for you so far?
It's been a good experience. I love working here.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thanks so much, everyone.
We'll see you next time. So Candyce, what exactly is it that you love about working here? You've been here for 5.5 years now. You've been in communications since you started, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and so what made you want to take that on as a career? It's a very difficult job. So what made you say, you know what, I can do that?
So actually, I started at the sheriff's office with intentions to go to forensics and got the job in forensics and decided that I just really loved communications and decided to go back. And so I've been in communications ever since, and it's a different feeling being on the other side of the phone when somebody's having their worst day.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. I've always tried to find the words to describe what it is that communications operators do, and I always find myself selling it short because I've had the opportunity to be in the room when you guys are answering calls, and it's just, I mean, one person is giving directions on CPR, the other person is trying to get information and saying, ma'am, you know, what's the address of your location? And it's just to be in that bubble and to hear it and to hear the training in your guys' voices, because that's a skill that's trained. It's not like it's something that you're born with and know what to do in every situation. But to hear you guys answer those phone calls and really do it so flawlessly, you guys don't get the credit that you deserve. And I know Communications Week is a big week where we kind of show you guys off and we showcase that voice on the other end of the phone. And can you talk a little bit about Communications Week and what that kind of entails for you guys?
So Communications Week basically is to highlight communications operators because
it's kind of a week to celebrate the operators and what you guys do.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun in there too.
It is a lot of fun.
You guys
we do
dress
pick a lot of
up
themes and I think actually this week we're doing a camp theme, so stay on lookout for that.
Camp theme. Oh man, I'm gonna have to take a little stroll down to the communications
We'll
room.
get some pictures for sure. So you've been here 5.5 years. You said you've dabbled in forensics, and you decided, no, you know what? I really like the communications side, helping people through their worst times. You actually had an experience, and I hope I'm not going too abrupt here, but you had an experience with a call recently with you, Gabriella. Is that correct?
Correct. So bear with me because I'm going to do my best not to get emotional because, oh boy, I recently had a family member, and being an employee of the sheriff's office, you know, I do have that insider scoop where I do get to see you and I see people that work here and deputies and things like that. But when you're in a moment where a family member, like my family member was having a medical emergency and we didn't know if it was a heart attack, a stroke, a seizure. I mean, there's just so much, you kind of just hear that white noise. And so I was the one that picked up 911, and all of the Gabriella who works at the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office went away, and it was, I'm Gabriella and I need help. And you actually were, okay.
That didn't take long.
Yeah. You were that voice on the other end of the phone. And, oh my goodness. I'm going to keep it together. Don't worry. You were that voice on the other end of the phone that stayed with me until I could hear the sirens. Whew. Okay, I'm fine. Don't judge me, Charlotte County. Do not judge me.
Well, as you can tell, this was something that was very, very close to Gabriella and very emotional for her. And we don't get a lot of opportunities to engage with the communications operators because, as you know, Candice, you're kind of locked in a room and it's away from everything. You guys are the heartbeat of the agency, and we really don't get to go visit the heart very often because of what you do and how critical it is that you can't be distracted. So
it was just to have that moment where, like, after the fact, when it was all said and done and EMS arrived and we got him to the hospital and it was okay. Like, he ended up being okay and it was a happy ending. I thought back to that and I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, part of my job in public information is to highlight communications and deputies and all the people around the agency. And when we highlight communications, we talk about that calm, that voice on the other end of the phone. And to be in a situation where I got to experience that and needed that. And I just remember saying to you over and over, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And I was just in such this fog because you were asking specific questions and I was clearly not aware of anything. And it was just to think back after the fact about that whole day and that voice on the other end of the phone, it's priceless. You just can't stress enough how important it is to have that lifeline, pick up the phone and be like, it's okay, help is on the way. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being that voice for me, and I'm sure hundreds others.
So, Candice, in that moment when you took that call, did you know that it was Gabriella Ruiz from the sheriff's office that you were speaking with?
No, I had no idea.
Okay. So
I didn't know until I received an email, with a thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get that often.
Right.
And so that made me feel really good, that I helped someone through a hard day.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And that's not the recognition we get all the time. And we have to move on from emergency to emergency to emergency. So we don't really get to process anything until, the end of the day when we go home.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes it just, you forget. And then because you're just on to the next emergency.
Sure.
Right.
And that's got to be, and I hope I didn't just cut you off, Gabriella, but
No.
That has to be an emotional roller coaster for you every single shift. I mean, you go from one call where you're handling something and you help somebody through that, and then you hang up that and it's immediate, right? You're on the next call already.
And you don't know if you're going to be picking up an admin line or a 911 line, or you don't know what you're walking into when you pick up the phone.
Mm-hmm. You just know the phone rings and you need to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking to somebody who, when the phone rings and I don't recognize the number, I don't go any further than that, right? It's just so, but you don't get that option, right?
No.
I mean, if Scam Likely calls
answer.
you're answering that call because Mr. Likely could be going through an emergency. So we're talking about the ups and downs of the position, but I know that it takes a special kind of person to do that job. And I think that's what Gabriella was alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
Having you sitting here with us, we know that you are that special person. And so we appreciate you, and I hope that is known throughout the entire unit back there. But you're right. There is a lot of forgetfulness as far as what you guys do, and the recognition doesn't come that often. So now here we are in Telecommunications Appreciation Week. And what message would you want to send to anybody that's listening?
I just want to say thank you to all the dispatchers out there and the community that we have as dispatchers, because we are just one unit, and everybody, all the dispatchers out there really do stick together, and they really see how important it is to highlight other agencies or dispatchers, and they know that we need that recognition. It's just having each other's backs.
Yeah, it's like a little community in there. It really is. And you guys are just so full of life, and when the call stops, it's like you said, you're on to the next one, and it's I can't find the words. Thank you just isn't enough. for what you guys do, and I'm sure the deputies feel the same way, because you're that voice in their ear for them.
Yep.
When they're going out and they're, on a traffic stop. And even just recently, I was overhearing a radio, and if you don't hear from them, you're calling their radio number. You're making
Within
them
3
answer
minutes
you.
if they don't answer us.
Yeah. So you're that voice for so many people. And like I said, thank you just doesn't cut it.
Thank you.
Gotta break this emotional tension somehow. So.
This one got a little emotional.
A little hard for me. I mean, you guys are both connected to this thing, and it's so powerful that, what's happening here is happening, and I won't get into details about it. But again, Candyce, it is so cool to have you here, to know that what you do every single day is saving lives. And as Gabriella was saying, you direct the deputies too. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like on that end of the call? Because you've got somebody freaking out in one ear, and yet you're trying to guide this deputy or this first responder in the other ear. So how does that come together?
Sure. So when we answer a 911 line and we're also working a law enforcement radio or a fire radio, we try and take both individuals' lives into account. Obviously, the public is very important, and we try and prioritize the higher emergency. But if I have two individuals who are both having emergencies, I'm putting a call on mute, telling them, I still have help on the way. You're just going to hear silence for a moment while I'm telling my deputy or my firefighter or my paramedic, hey, I need you to go here for this reason, and then go back on the line and finish my 911 with the individual while making sure I'm still paying attention to my unit's safety.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of multitasking.
Wow.
So already I can tell you I would not be good at that job.
I would definitely hit the wrong button. That's just unreal. And that's exactly what you witness when you kind of stand over your guys' shoulders. It's just so much going on at once, but you guys handle it with such grace and such precision. It's unbelievable.
So, Candyce, again, we want to thank you for being on the show. We know that it's hard to get you out of that room, and we really appreciate you stepping out and spending a few minutes with us up here on the podcast. And any last words that you'd like to share with our listeners about what it is that you do, or anybody who might be sitting at home thinking, I wonder if I could do that too?
I would say if you think you can do it, go ahead and give it a shot, because I didn't think that I could do this job. And I applied and passed all the testing, and here I am 5.5 years later.
Saving lives.
Yeah.
Taking names and saving lives. I think that's the phrase,
That's
right?
the phrase, precisely. Yep.
Something like that. Perfect. All right. Well, then I think that's going to do it for us here today.
Do you want me to say it?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for listening in to this episode of Patrolling in Paradise, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.
All right. Take care now.